What's up guys, Skippy Africanus here, and I was just about to start working on my P08 Luger. It has a little bit of a trigger reset problem, and I think I know the solution to it. Which, if it ends up working, expect another video on that, because I like to be helpful occasionally. But anyways, while I was about to start doing that, I ended up having a pretty good video idea. You see, it's been quite some time since I've actually taken this thing apart, and well, you always hear that Lugers are overly complicated and all that, difficult to disassemble. Let's see if I can actually do this from memory. Now, what I have to actually take apart in order to do the fix is going to be a little bit more than what I'm doing today. But let's just see how far I can get. I think the last time that I really would go this far was like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. Definitely haven't done this in a good minute. So let's see how complicated, difficult these are. Because if they're super complicated and difficult, I should start having issues, again, taking this thing apart. So let's get started with that one. So obviously the first thing is to check and make sure the gun is clear, which is very important on certain Luger models, this one in particular too. We'll get into that later, but obviously the gun is clear. Drop the mag. This part's the easy part, just move that lever down. Slide that off. I got the right side this time. Gonna be honest, it looks like I'm fumbling. It's because this is a kind of a weird camera position I have set up right now. But anyways, that's normally about how much I take it apart for typical cleaning. But if I'm feeling a little extra, could take the firing pin out too. I remember this. I think you gotta rotate it. It might be the wrong way. Okay, that's definitely more extensive than you would on an old pistol, taking the firing pin out. Pretty easy on the Luger. I have not taken the rest of this toggle off before, but I have an assumption that I press it there. Go off camera a little bit so I can see this. Let's see here. Alright, so I think I might have to take the extractor out. Mind you, I've never disassembled this far. I'm kind of guessing right now, but hopefully nothing flies out. There's our extractor. I guess this thing really does need a deep clean, to be honest. Assuming there might not be pressure on there now. I'll go off camera for 2 seconds real quick. Okay, so I think that's about the furthest extent I can disassemble it, which, to be honest, versus most, slide semi-automatic pistols and stuff, Luger's actually pretty darn simple. But of course, we got the task of putting it back together. We'll see if that's just as simple as taking it apart. So we got I'm going to put the extractor in first, as that was the last thing I took out. And like I had mentioned, I've never taken the extractor out, so that was a first. To be honest, like the toggle and everything might have come out with that pin. Again, I've never looked into doing that, so don't really want to try forcing stuff out if it's not meant to. One sec. a little bit hard to do off camera, so if I go to take, well, this part in particular, like a little bit tiny parts, obviously. I stopped recording for like 2 seconds because it was taking me a minute and I was just getting a look on fit. I promise I'm not looking this up. This is all first time doing this. Okay, so that is how that fits. It was kind of funny, actually. As I was doing this, I heard a little piece drop somewhere, and I thought it was from this, and I had that oh shit moment, but I think it was just a rock on my shoe. Fun fact, you tend to want to have to put your spring in with the extractor before putting the extractor in. Okay, I think it went like... Honestly, this is gonna be like a good portion of the video, is just getting the extractor in, but I've definitely dealt with worse extractors. Might be getting mixed up a little bit, but I thought my PX4 Storm had a terrible one to take out. Okay, that one is in. Now it's just a matter of lining up the hole. Go tap. There we go. Okay. That should be the last part we have to do off camera. Or tap, line everything up in there. Okay. Extractor's in, the rest is pretty darn easy. Well, at least I remember the firing pin being fairly easy. It's a very long firing pin spring, by the way. Okay, let me see here. Gotta line it up like that. Which I will say, this is a very nice feature of the Luger. I have taken the firing pin out before, and, well, I'm going to tell you, most modern handguns, well, I'm certain a lot of you guys know, it sucks doing that. Well, the Luger is very simple to take it out and put it back in. But anyways, firing pin's in. Now to put the even easier stuff back together, the whole toggle assembly. Oh, and then I will show you that weird thing that I had mentioned earlier and forgot to do before taking this apart. Got that pin right there. There we go. The whole toggle is put back together. Now, I did mention one thing about it being important to make sure your lugers are cleared before, you know, taking them apart. And this is your reason. You can fire this thing out of the gun, which I think is worthy of a future video. But yeah, now there's a bunch of lugers, you know, they actually have a safety feature to that, to where you can't do it. But mine doesn't have that, and yours might not either. But anyways, back to reassembling, and the rest is easy. Oh, one thing that I actually forgot to take apart was pulling this trigger out. Might as well do the lower half as well. Trigger just slides out like that. And then that magazine release, I actually remember that fairly well, I think. There's your grips, easy peasy. Oh, I forgot. Part of mine's broke. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, this is pretty simple. Bam, got your magazine release spring out, and there is your magazine release. Again, very simple, nothing too complicated here. As per the rest, looks like there's a pin right there to get that safety out. A little bit of resistance. Maybe a different spot. Okay, well, I'm certain that's how you get it out, but I'm kind of just trying to do the easy stuff. Not trying to, like, you know, beat something to death that's not meant to be beaten to death. I might look that up just in case. Sometimes you never know. But I will say that lower grip was pretty darn easy to take apart, and, well, it's going to be easy to put back together because this is a luger after all. They're very easy to disassemble, disassemble and reassemble, common to what you may hear. So we got that guy in there right. I'm going to have to go off camera for 2 seconds to kind of eyeball this because it's a little bit of a fine piece. Alright, we're back in action. Not going to lie, it took me quite a few minutes off camera, but turns out I could actually, I tried a little bit, some tricks here and there, and I can actually slide it. I thought that little indent would stop it from doing that. So, probably a little bit easier than it's supposed to be, but as mentioned, I haven't taken this thing apart in quite some time. So anyways, get that trigger back on there. There we go. A little more effort than I think it should have taken, but... As mentioned, having a camera there is a little bit weird. I think it's kind of neat that I actually forgot this thing even had a split in the wood. Like, it's such a perfect split that you can't even, like, see it once it's on the gun. And it should be mentioned that a normal luger won't have too much of a problem like this, because a normal one shouldn't have that split. But you have to line up perfectly. There we go. Okay, last screw. Okay. Try that again. I think I gotta raise the wood grip up a little bit. Looks like it's shouldn't be under that screw like that. Maybe it should. I might check that later. But anyways, there's your grip reassembled. And the rest, again, make sure your safety's down, but the rest is super easy. Put that magazine in there for easier time. Oh, forgot the most important thing, making sure that spring lines up. got a little bit ahead of myself. Alright. Put this plate back on. And there we go. Like I said, I don't think I've taken this thing apart in like quite a few years, and I was able to get pretty darn far with it for it being a very complicated pistol. Anyways, that is going to do it for this short little video on seeing if I could do this after not doing it for a while. I hope you all enjoyed the video as much as I personally enjoyed making it, and let's hope I can get this little trigger reset problem fixed, because we got future content involving this Luger. Alright, so actually, funny side note before we go, so as soon as I stopped filming that, I went to go try flipping the screws around, and that actually ended up letting them seat perfectly. If you remember, we had that one that was a little too tall, and that's the funny thing with Lugers, is they're hand-fitted, so sometimes each part's just gotta go where it's gotta go. Anyways, that's it for the video. Later.